to assert eternal providence and justify the ways of God to men. Well, that was the aim of John Milton when he wrote Paradise Lost. My aim, not so grand as Milton. I just want to assert him and prove his views to the readers and viewers. Let's go into Paradise Lost, the greatest epic of English literature, the only complete epic in English literature. Let's look at the life of John Milton. He was born in 1608 and he died in 1674. He is known as the father of the English epic. When Milton was active, there was a civil war between King Charles I and his parliament. Puritanism was the popular form of religion at the time. It was the strictest form of Christianity, and this religion restricted all writers to write only about religion and politics. All the texts were censored. So naturally, Milton wrote only about religion. His writings can be divided into the following periods. The college period, Ode on the Morning of Christ's Nativity, written in 1629, is the first poem by John Milton. He was dissatisfied with his college, especially the teachers, so he discontinued his college education, locked himself up in his grandfather's house for 6 years in Horton to study the classics. Milton believed the classics of Latin and Greek are the only books worthy of his time. At this time, he wrote L'Allegro and Il Penseroso, twin poems. L'Allegro represents the happy man and Il Penseroso, the pensive or sad man. Comus in 1634 and Lycidas 1637. Lycidas is his famous elegy on his best friend Edward King, who died when he was in college. The period of prose writings are many, because Milton was an active politician and he wrote many pamphlets at the time. However, Areopagitica in 1644 stands as the only pamphlet that is literary because it is against the censorship of texts. Milton also wrote sonnets. On His Blindness in 1652 stands as the best and popular of all his sonnets. Coming to the period of the great epics, Milton wrote Paradise Lost in 1667, Paradise Regained, the sequel to Paradise Lost in 1671, and finally, he completed his career with Samson Agonistes. All these are on themes of the Bible and biblical myths. Before we get into Paradise Lost, let us learn a little bit about the form of the epic. Now, the epic is a very long narrative poem that records either historical accounts or tells the story of gods and goddesses or legendary heroes or all the three. Traditionally, epic was invented by the Greeks and copied by the Romans. Homer's Iliad and Odyssey are the best examples of epics. The Roman poet Virgil copied this method for his epic poem Aeneid. All these narrate the story of heroes of the time, kings, queens, gods, and battles fought long ago. The epic poet would naturally begin his work with an incantation or invocation or a prayer to the muses, because this is a large poem and the poet would hope to finish his work successfully. Now, the muses are 9 goddesses of the arts according to Greek mythology. For example, Calliope is the muse of the epic, Clio that of history, Urania that of astronomy, and Melpomene that of tragedy. There are many other muses also, but let's just take these 4 for now. The poet brings in traditional Greek gods, characters of Greek gods, and characters featured in Greek epics every now and then. For instance, instead of mentioning about hell, they may mention about the underworld, which is represented in Greek mythology. A few facts about Paradise Lost. It was published in 1667 and it is the only complete epic in English literature. It runs to 12 books with over 10,000 lines of verse. This massive epic of Milton was modeled on Virgil's Aeneid. and he uses Greek and Roman myths in a Christian background. And it is in blank verse. Blank verse is a form of poem that uses iambic pentameters without rhyming words. The other astonishing details of Milton is that he became blind by the time he wrote Paradise Lost. Imagine writing 12 books with 10,000 lines when you are blind. So his daughter wrote it down while he dictated. The theme of the 12 books are religion, the fall of Adam, Eve, Satan from heaven. Milton's aim is to justify, to prove, to elaborate the ways of God to men and make people understand why they have to suffer when they were so righteous. Characters include God, Lucifer, who later becomes Satan, Adam, Eve, Beelzebub, the assistant to Lucifer, Gabriel, Michael, other angels, and fallen angels or devils. When the poem was initially published, it was banned in Germany because it gave more importance to devils than God. Milton tried to sell his magnificent epic when he wrote it, but the highest amount he got was just £5. And today, the first version of Paradise Lost is being auctioned for millions. The 1852 version of Paradise Lost was bound in a strange piece of leather. Upon research, it was identified as human skin, and that too a skin of a murderer. Now, isn't that astonishing? Going back to the major characters in Paradise Lost, Satan the devil, who is often referred as the infernal serpent. The serpent is an image that is frequently used to refer to all the devils. Satan, and not God, is the dominating character in Paradise Lost. Milton unknowingly made him the hero, or maybe he did it knowingly. Who knows? Once, Satan was the archangel in heaven. He went by the name of Lucifer, which meant light born because he was so handsome and he shone brilliantly. The only fault of Satan is that he refused to bow down to Adam when Adam was created out of sand. He even gathered up an army of angels and revolted against God. God struck Lucifer with his lightning and sent them all straight to hell. Well, this reference to lightning is from Greek myth because Zeus was traditionally believed to be the wielder of lightning and thunder. Lucifer now becomes Satan and he vows revenge upon God and men. Another important and interesting feature of Paradise Lost is Milton's description of hell. What is hell? How does it look? No one knows. But Milton believes there is a vast lake of fire burning forever, and this lake is burning because of the sulfur beneath the lake. This is Milton's depiction of hell. The lake has no bottom, and its shores stretch as far as the eye can see. The flames in hell are not ordinary flames. These flames do not give light, but instead they give out darkness. Now imagine a fire that gives out darkness instead of light and burns 10 times harder than the flames of earth. The devils are tied with adamantine chains. The specialty of these chains, they can never be broken. They cannot be broken no matter what. And they are weighed down into the lake with these chains. There are floods, there are whirlwinds of fire, there are storms. And the land, if at all a land is there in hell, it is even worse. It is full of ragged mountains, stones that burn with dry fire. There are two kinds of fire which are described by Milton. One is the wet one which is in the lake, and the other is the dry fire in the land. The dry fire is even worse. Now this is where Satan and his army are put up. They are sent to hell straight from a divine and beautiful world of heaven. Now, does Satan give up? Let's see in the next video.